Hey, what's going on, guys? MLB The Show 26 just rolled out with a pretty focused set of changes. This update brings in the 2026 City Connect uniforms for the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Texas Rangers, with the note that City Connect bats are still coming in a future update. So this is really just the next step in that rollout rather than the full package. A big chunk of the patch is aimed at Diamond Dynasty, and honestly, that is probably where the most meaningful quality of life work happened. One of the biggest fixes here is an exploit in head-to-head games, where users could end up getting the wrong win or loss on the lineup screen before the game even started, which is the kind of issue that can mess with competitive integrity in a hurry. Along with that, there are menu lag improvements and optimizations, so if the mode has been feeling a little sluggish in spots, this update is clearly trying to smooth that out. They also fixed a visual problem where usernames and ranked rating rewards text could overlap after the rewards screen, and they cleaned up another bug where a user's logo might not show after a conquest win. Gameplay itself also got a fix that sounds very specific, but is the kind of thing players notice fast when it happens. The CPU could get stuck constantly spiking the ball in the dirt while in player lock, and that has now been addressed. In co-op, there were two more frustrating issues taken care of, including a freeze that could happen inside the pause menu, and another bug where the batter could lose their turn if a teammate got caught stealing. Those might sound like edge cases on paper, but when you are in the middle of a game, even a single freeze or broken turn sequence can wreck the entire session, so getting those out of the way matters a lot. Franchise mode was not left out either. There was a fix for player images sometimes missing on the progress loading screen, which is one of those presentation glitches that does not stop you from playing, but absolutely makes the mode feel a little rough around the edges when it happens. The miscellaneous section is also worth mentioning because it includes audio bug fixes and improvements, a repair for the issue where all relief pitchers had the same pre-at-bat music when entering a game, fixes for presentation scenes that were not playing properly, and a correction for the home run siren not triggering at Truist Park. So even though this update is not packed with giant feature additions, it does hit a lot of the little things that add up over time. There is also a list of updated player models in this patch, including Mike Antico, AJ Blubaugh, Diego Cartaya, Andrew Chafin, Mike Clevenger, Alex Cobb, Nestor Cortez, Chase Hampton, Jonathan India, Peter Lambert, Nathan Lukes, Nick Martravicius, Riley Martin, Cesar Prieto, Nolan Schubart, Adrian Sugaste, and Tyler Zuber. That kind of detail usually flies under the radar for a lot of people, but if you pay attention to the way players look in-game, those updates can make a noticeable difference in how polished the roster feels overall. Now, the part that has people talking the most is definitely the developer notes, because that is where the update gets into how Diamond Dynasty is being handled going forward. Sony San Diego said the strike zone in Diamond Dynasty has been adjusted so that any ball touching the zone will be called, which lines up more closely with how the game is supposed to be called in real life. They also said ABS challenges will not be available in Diamond Dynasty, and the visual strike zone will appear slightly smaller. The developers also made it clear that pitches that were balls before will still be balls, and strikes will still be strikes. So this is more about tightening the zone behavior than suddenly changing the entire strike and ball universe overnight. The other major note is about PCI shrinkage, which has already been a hot topic for players trying to understand exactly what changed and what did not. The clarification here is that before this year, hitters could be penalized on breaking balls both down in the zone and away from the hitter, but now only one penalty will be applied instead of both. In other words, the team is saying the mechanic remains in the game, but the way the penalty stacks has been adjusted. That is a pretty important distinction because it changes the conversation from whether shrinkage exists at all to how harshly it is being applied in certain situations. There's also a fair play message in the notes, with the developers saying they are monitoring game activity and staying committed to fair competition, while also encouraging community reports as part of their process for handling cheating concerns. That does not read like a flashy headline, but it does tell you where their priorities are with this update. Tighten the modes, reduce the annoying bugs, refine Diamond Dynasty rules, and keep the competitive side cleaner. And for anyone waiting on the timing, this update is set to go live on April 30th at 7 a.m. ET for all consoles.